The Battle of Britain is about to begin.
Deep right, we got mates up there. Let's follow a range on deep right. I'm right on the target right now. I've got a couple right in front of me. I'm going after it. Right, I got him.
Welcome back to the Lead Pursuit Podcast. Summer is finally here, and hopefully that means more hobby time for us adults. That is, if you're not running kids to soccer games, taking them to Disney or the beach. Well, here in Alabama, the summer heat is in full swing. It's making resin wings more flaccid than a Warlord F4F Wildcat. But speaking of flaccid, I'm joined tonight on the podcast by Steve, Brett, and Casey. What up, Team Lead Pursuit?
How's it going?
If I was any more rigid, I'd need to see a doctor.
I heard flaccid, so I'm here.
Yeah, hobby flaccidness. That's what I need to talk about this week. But anyway, hey, let's jump right into talking events, because, you know, I was having a great day today. I was early. I was done early with work, but not really done. I knew some other shit was going to hit the fan, but had a moment to take some time. So I said, you know what? I'm going to sit down, get a drink, watch some YouTube. And I kicked over and was watching our good buddy Steve Gusky, who stabbed me in the heart in his YouTube video and reminded me that it had been a year since GOE 2021, and we had not done another GOE event. So thanks, Steve. You broke my heart right there, and then I feel like I'm a fucking failure for the whole community by not spending thousands of dollars to go to New Orleans.
Can't believe he called you out like that.
Yeah, he did. You know, I swear, friends, what the fuck? No. But to that point, yeah, man, it's been an interesting year, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the main part of tonight's episode. But we're doing some GOE stuff. I think as everyone comes out of this pandemic and prices go back up and there's inflation and whatever, we can have that freaking argument later over beer. It's going to get tough to do some of these events. So we're going to play it by ear. We're going to go to other people's events, and we're all going to get together, push little airplanes, and, you know, drink beer. So what events have we got coming up? Twisted Lords on 22 to 24 July. Lots of shit's in flux with that. Obviously, I was going to be there. Now I'm not. I'm going to be on a business trip. Casey, you've got a Friday night event, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is, instead of just doing the tournament, what we'll do is it's just a really fun narrative event. We're going to use the new Rockworks B-17 models that I painted up, and we're just going to have a fun, like, hey, the B-17's got to make the bombing run, get from one end of the table to the other. And so we'll have some escorts of P-38s, P-47s.
You'll have some escorts. Are they paid escorts?
Yes,
oh, I'm sorry.
only
Not
the
those kind of
finest.
escorts. Not an escort service. You meant escort fighters. Shit.
We'll have
Got that wrong
some
again.
Germans. And I'm looking right now. I'm actually fine-tuning the wording right now on the Twisted Lords Con website. And you can find that actually on tabletop.events. So hopefully by tomorrow morning it'll be approved if you want to sign up for this. But yeah, so we'll have some Americans, B-17s. The players will control that along with the escorts. And then some Germans, some 109s, maybe some 190s. I'm thinking about, for fun, adding maybe 262s in there. 4 players, possibly 6. Everybody controls it. It's just going to be a fun narrative event. Hopefully have some drinks around there, talking, laughing, just having a good time.
Cool. Well, the other good thing is talking to the infamous John Russell last night. He said, we will do a tournament even if he has to run it. And then I about spit my drink out. And I said, no, really, John, really. I think I could find someone else. So hopefully there'll still be a Saturday tournament. And Sunday is going to be Big Red Skies. So, yeah, stick around and play Big Red Skies on Sunday. I don't know what the event is. I have talked to the person who's going to run it, and I've said, hey, you can do whatever the fuck you want because I'm not there. So it should be something fun. It should be a cool event. It should be narrative, not competitive, and it will be with big 1/72nd scale models. Now, that being said, I'm being super hands-off about it, other than Casey, don't fuck it up. And let me remind you, don't fuck it up.
I'm writing it down now.
Yeah, exactly. Do not fuck it up. But the deal is, everyone that's going to TLC, have fun. Wish I was going to be there. I'm super disappointed I'm not, but it's weird. I actually have to do my job to collect a paycheck. So, well, I'm not going to be there. All right. That same weekend, Historicon, Steve, still on for a Friday night tournament?
You know it. I'm pumped for it. I'm getting everything all together. I'm psyched. It's going to be a great tournament.
Shit hot. That's going to be good. So, Historicon's another kind of event that we've partnered up with a variety of people and with Mythicos and a lot of other guys to do some cool stuff up there. There will obviously be a lot of other aviation events going on, a lot of other wargaming going on. But if you're going to be there partial at the time, Friday for the tournament. Let me tell you right now, I don't know how we're going to do tournament signups yet for both those, but we'll get that figured out in the next week, and we'll get that information out on our website and on the Facebook page. All right, moving on. When Doug gets back from actually doing his job, and the following weekend, 16 to 18 August, definitely doing a BRS tournament at NashCon. So it will be the same setup as we had last year out in the foyer. Nice area right next to the bolt action tables. Chance for us to do our tournament, and I'm going to be there the rest of the weekend. So, we'll do some other stuff that we can. We're trying to talk. We've kicked around doing a bolt action Korea event on Friday night. We'll see if that goes. That hopefully will be 2 tables side by side, one with some Blood Red Skies battles, the other one with some bolt action battles, and we'll see how that develops. We'll let everybody know what the plan is as we get a little bit closer, and we might even use some modified combined arms rules that we've whipped up. So we'll see what cool stuff we can throw out at NashCon, and then once again, tons of BRS pickup games.
I think I'm throwing my hat in the ring for NashCon too.
What?
I have that. Yeah, I have those. Plane tickets that I totally fucked up and made my whole family drive, 30 hours because I booked the wrong date just waiting to be spent somewhere. So we might do NashCon.
Dad of the year right there.
Well, that would be good because especially the question is, will you bring your wife? And if you do, will it be 3 pairs of boots again?
No. That's a negative.
All right. So, in this case, we will not invite the wives to NashCon because we don't need any additional expenses. We spend enough money with our gaming stuff. So we'll be there. We'll have fun. And it should be a really cool event because NashCon's got a lot of diverse stuff. I know Aerodrome's going to be there. I know that there's a couple other aerial war games going in, and we might even do some AI there. So moving on, the big event, Crucible, 30 September to 2 October. Well, for everyone else in the podcast, 2 October. 2 October is my anniversary, so I will not be gaming that day. Love you all like brothers, but go fuck yourselves. We'll be doing some BRS and some AI. It's pretty much going to be the de facto GOE for 2022, so sorry, we're not kind of hosting our own event, but it's the event when all of the podcast is going to be together, hanging out, acting like a bunch of idiots, and playing aerial war games. So regardless of how many tables we have, we know we're set up well for a BRS tournament. We know we have a full-time BRS table or 2, and if we need more tables, we'll just get more tables, and we'll just play somewhere else, and we'll go outside and drink beer and play games. So be there, or else the mouse gets it, because I will kill a mouse.
I'll be able to drive down with all my stuff.
I know you won't have to pack for once. You're not going to show up with the Steve Toth 3 suitcases.
Yeah, so all the mats and all the planes, whatever we need.
Hells yeah. Yeah, I'm driving as well, so I should bring my
your R44 motorcycle for a little bolt action.
That's R75, sir. Get it right.
Is that DAC or is that European camouflage?
I'm just going to mute myself now.
Oh, the jokes never get old. All right. Well, moving on from making fun of Brett for his Adepticon model buying spree. So, all right. Those are the events. There might be stuff later in the year. I know my work schedule kicks off and gets stupid at the end of November. Siege of Vicksburg is still in the plan. I haven't heard any updates from Adam about what all else is going on there, but that's still in the cards. And then after that, who knows? I know, Casey, you guys have Millennium Con. We'll figure all that out here in the next couple months.
You should try to make it.
All right.
Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah, Vets Day weekend, where I will probably be shit-faced somewhere, but it will not be Millennium Con.
Do you guys hear a lot of excuses from him about missing gaming? I'm just curious.
Well, I'm sorry. I have other things to do. It's like the Marine Corps birthday the day before, so, why would I spend that with a bunch of dorks? Oh.
With a bunch of Marines.
With a bunch of Marine dorks that like little airplanes and painting figures. Yeah, dorks. Oh, man. All right, well, let's talk about some of the things that we've seen coming out in our Intel update. The big one, the 700-pound gorilla, besides all the aces and all the other squadron boxes and all the crazy shit on pre-order from Warlord, is the Ops Room. Steve, what is the ops room?
It is finally the release of the card deck that Ken Nat has blessed us with all his hard work.
Oh,
so
thank you so much, Ken.
Excited to finally get this card deck. Does this just not fill the biggest gap that has been there for this game?
I thought the biggest gap was the outsized stand holes in the zeros that didn't fit. Oh, not that kind of a gap. Sorry.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
I hope that card thing sells like gangbusters because, as a community, we bitched about it. And we were noisy about it as well. So, I'm certainly putting in my pre-order. I want the cards.
You fucking said that last week. Where the fuck is your pre-order, dude? I mean, it's not like you don't know the web address.
I've just been slammed at work. Yeah, I've been kind of putting like all non-work stuff off to the side until the weekend, but I'll get to it. But yes, I intend to get it.
I bust your balls, but there's an interesting point there. So it's been funny for me to watch, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But the percentage numbers of pre-orders and how it's gone throughout the year, and there definitely is, as I'll refer to later, some BRS fatigue going on. But let's talk about what's in that card deck. Now, there's a ton of those cards that people already have. I get it. Some of them came in starter sets. Some of them came in the new starter set. Some of them came in squadron boxes. But there's a bunch of new ones in there that we've never seen before. And so I'm actually really kind of excited for those just to see how those fit into the current way that the theater and doctrine cards work and what they kind of modify. Because if you kind of felt that all the stats and all the ways of nerfing somebody or enhancing your own fighters and bombers were already there in the doctrine cards, well, guess what? There's already 5 or 6 new ones. Things like, Blood Brothers, the Big Wing, Snap Roll, a couple different ones that I'm curious to see what the actual wording is going to be.
I'm excited. I'm bummed because there was a rumor of a card that was called Mixed Bag. That was a potential, and it doesn't look like that.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that didn't make it. So I thought that card was going to be in there, and I thought that was really formalizing what had been thrown out, that, hey, we just got to have a way to play some mixed squadrons. But I don't know if it was the wording that Andy felt kind of broke the model, or if they just played it enough and they're like, dude, this is going to allow people to min-max all the squadrons. I don't know exactly the reason it didn't make the cut. So maybe it's actually secret. Maybe it's in there they didn't put on the list.
But overall, it's really exciting. I mean, I think this was needed. It's going to allow everybody who either couldn't find the Battle of Britain set or only bought one set. I mean, this is going to be like, buy this pack, get all the stuff, and you're good to go with the most current cards. Probably some of the typos might even be fixed. The wording will be the same.
One can
it's going to be really good.
Well, and the reason I like it is it's almost the inverse of the old Games Workshop, or even the current Games Workshop model, where let me charge you $300 to buy the starter set for all the stuff that you could either buy third party and then buy some models, and that would cost you $150. This is kind of the inverse. If you go out and you buy the Ops Room card deck and the Airstrike book with all the tokens and clouds and all that, you literally have more than what you need in a starter set, and it costs only a little bit more. And now that I'm talking out my butt, I'm going to have to go out there and actually look and see what the price is for the combined Airstrike plus Ops Room package. Let's see as we're looking here. What have they said? So I got to put on the glasses because I can't read that far. It is, it's actually cheaper. It's $54. So you roll in for $54. It's bring your own airplanes. That's actually pretty good value for me. So I think it's a good way where people are going to go, you know what? I couldn't care less about Midway. I couldn't care less about the old Battle of Britain set. I just want to buy exactly the fighters and bombers and whatever that I want. And then for $55, I get all the cards and the rules. So
I do hope that there is something on the card that maybe says like 2022 or just some little note that you can put on there that like these are the newest current cards. So some of the ones that said discard instead of remove, like that would be convenient.
I'm getting mine. I mean, I want to have all the cards, so Here you go. We finally got what we asked for, right?
I think you'll see it really popular with players. Just about everybody wants it and needs it. So I'm hoping, though, once they see everybody buying these, we'll see some more stuff come out, too.
Yeah, what's the next thing? What's the next thing we could cry about and say, man, they really got to make this. They're fools. Why don't they make this? Probably a campaign system.
Well, a campaign system too soon. Wait, no. We can cry about ace cards. Ace cards and equipment cards, because there's apparently none of those. The airstrike equipment cards haven't really come out anywhere else, so people don't have cluster bombs and radio guided bombs and all the other cool things and air to ground rockets. Although I think air to ground rockets is in one of the bomber boxes. I don't know. But anyway,
as long as it sells better than the neoprene ship targets that everybody had to have, they should be happy.
How many of those have we sold? 5, maybe 6? I don't know. It's all right. It's okay. That's okay. Well, let's move on from the ops room and the rest of the shit going on here. All right. Flightline. Yeah. The question is, Doug, do you even hobby, bro? Apparently not. Apparently fucking I don't do shit. But I know, Brett, you've been putting in some time to get the Catalina up and done. Want to tell us anything about that?
Yeah, man. I'm doing that 3-color pattern. Forgive me if it's called something else, but using some Blue Falcon Hobbies paints, giving those a run, the navy colors, and I like it, man. I kind of did something a little bit different with this model because it's a little bit bigger, so I tried to do a little pre-shading and some panel modulation on it to kind of make it look a little more weathered and stuff. I guess like the kind of thing you see on a larger scale model, but I kind of like the effect. It looks a little I don't know, more weathered than my typical style, but for a big model like that, it looks kind of good. It does not
look like a clean airplane, but I like it. I think it's going to look cool. If you have not seen the photos, they're out on our Instagram, and I guess I could repost those to Facebook, whatever. That would require effort on my part. But yeah, looking forward to seeing that actually all painted up. And we've obviously also seen a couple of the H8Ks in the ready room, and those have been cool because they've been everything from super clean lines to super weathered. And I think that it's nice to see these really big showpiece models get painted up.
Oh yeah, that one Chris Cassidy did looks amazing in there that he posted the other day.
Chris's and Dan's both look good, and I think they're two different takes on it, and I think they're pretty cool.
I did a little bit of like I guess once I did the panel lines and sort of panel modulation with the airbrush or whatever, I did, I think some people call it an overbrushing technique. So kind of like a dry brush, but it's not dry. It's a little bit more wet, but super thin coats, right? So really thin down paint and just brushing on really quick in very thin coats, almost like I say, like a dry brushing technique with a really wide brush. And just multiple coats. I'm talking like to get the effect, like I just keep putting them on, and once it's dry, put on another coat, like maybe 7 or 8 layers until I got the shade I wanted, the amount of darkness I wanted on that dark color. And it was kind of cool. It's kind of a fun process. Yeah. I'm kind of stuck right now though because the only decals I have for it are the Midway decals that came with it, and I think the tricolor thing might be a little later. I think maybe the insignia or whatever had a horizontal bar with the star, and I don't have decals like that. Your rivets
have been improperly counted.
Yes.
I know.
It's kind of
someone will complain. So good on you, man. Good on you for
Brett, you need
taking
the
the time to look
bar
at it.
with the red outline from June of 1943 to April of 1944.
Right.
Is this the only thing that History White Claw knows is what the paint scheme differences are?
Yeah. So I got to get some decals, I think, to finish this one. But that's all there is. I just got to slam on some decals and we're ready to rock.
Awesome. That'll be cool to see. I know I'm super excited about it, and maybe I'll actually start painting some of the other crap that's sitting here. I'm waiting to do my decals on my Wildcats and my Zeros, and the only reason I'm waiting is I can't find any Hawk widgets anywhere in the entire fucking United States because Brett bought them all at Adepticon. So I think I'm just going to trim out the bases a little bit more, put ball bearings in there, and just make them, magnetic ball bearing mounts. Whatever, not a big deal. That's a super minor hobby thing to fix before I get to the decal stage. What else have people been working on? Cleaning up hobby spaces?
I got my whole hobby space back to actually like workable conditions. So I'd had like a year of just shit all over the place.
Of a hobby-gasm that was going on.
Oh, it was terrible. I couldn't even walk down there. I was like stepping on bolt action pieces and needing stitches in the bottom of my feet. I mean, it was awful. And
they're worse than Legos.
I know. Now, bolt action machine guns are worse than Legos to step on. But yeah, I'm ready to go now. I got some P38s queued up, and yeah, I'm excited to get back to doing some little plane painting.
Little bitty planes. Yeah, so that'll be good. Well, moving on from hobby shit, let's talk about all the other crap that Doug's behind on that we haven't put out there. Plane Printer's been kicking ass with some new models. Obviously, a bunch we didn't care about, a bunch of interwar biplane stuff. But the C202 is out there. There, the HE-162. There's a couple other cool ones that are all out there. Bear with us, I haven't got them on the website. If you really need these things and nobody in your town prints 3D models, well, either you have no friends or you're super loyal to the Lead Pursuit podcast. So either way, thank you very much, and we will get those other plane printer models out there. We've been having a little bit of printer drama, right, Casey?
Oh, I knew this was coming. No, but also speaking of that, he's put out some 1 in 600 planes that if people do want them, if they email you, they print pretty well in 1 in 200. They're not going to have the detail in the panel lines that the 1 in 200 scale like natively have, but they still come out pretty good. So if someone absolutely needs the Condor, like we can
smoother than a Korean teen's. Oh, never mind. Yes, so they are a rather detailless, but I think the models still look cool. And let's be honest, you're putting them on the board as airplanes, and you're going to stand 3-4 feet away from them. They're going to look good. So yeah, we'll get some of that out there, and just be patient because I'm going to be gone for part of July and into August. So we'll have a note on the web store about, hey, feel free to order stuff. Nothing's getting freaking shipped because Doug's in Malaysia. So we'll handle that as appropriate, but there's going to be a little bit of a hobby shipping delay there. What else is new? So I just picked up Fury from the North, which is a fascinating book, especially if you know anything about the Korean People's Air Force, the North Korean Air Force, the Korean War, 1950 to 53. How you write an entire, how many pages is this?
Is that the Helium Press one?
Yeah, it is. So it's a great book,
man.
but I'm like, oh my God, how do you write this much about an Air Force that got shot down every time it flew? So
it goes day by day, almost every single op they flew.
Well, yeah, because there's like 5 ops they flew in the entire war, so that's 5 paragraphs. No, but it's actually really good because it does draw some distinctions between here's what the Korean People's Air Force was doing, here is what the Chinese PLAF's doing, here's what the Soviet MiGs are doing, and it talks about some of the exchanges between, so like when the MiGs, the Soviet air regiments and air Corps would get their new MiGs and they'd transfer their old MiGs over to the Chinese, over to the North Koreans. It details some of that. I just got it today, so I really haven't done much more than look at Tom Cooper's color plates in there and kind of see what the topics are. So it seems like it's got some good information, especially if you are one of those people who wants to play missions where actually the North Koreans field ground attack aircraft. So it talks a lot about IL-10s and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a good book. And hopefully I'll get a chance to read it here before I have to go to Malaysia. Shit.
Does it make you want to play some Korean Blood Red Skies?
No, not really. Not at all. Nope. I'll do that at NashCon. I'll get my glut of Korea Blood Red Skies stuff.
That would be cool to get some IL-10s on the table.
I think that actually is cool, and I was talking with John Russell about that for doing Big Red Skies. We said, he only has one IL-2 that you can make an IL-10, but maybe that's the interloper in the middle of your air-to-air mission as it comes trundling through the middle of the board, see who shoots it first. But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting reference book and have some good stuff to cover. So I've heard this rumor. I haven't seen them, but under the new kit and other shit out there, I hear there's new Blue Falcon Hobbies paints. Steve, can you confirm that?
I can. So we are going to do a, an update to the USN USMC set to include the 2 early war colors, the gray and blue gray. And then for about 6 months, Chris has been saying, we need this special black color that, Games Workshop doesn't make anymore. And he sent me a paint swatch, and it is definitely a dark gray. So I guess I'll just be bottling. This is going to be Blue Falcon Hobbies gray period, and we're just going to bottle several different grays and have them out for everybody to enjoy.
Nice. Well, that would
don't call it anything else.
Don't put a controversial name on there.
Gray.
We're going to be canceled. It's gray.
Gray.
Gray
or gray.
Gray. Oh, yeah, let's not get canceled because, everyone is just in such a great mood today on social media. Yeah, not so much. Well, that will be good to have the earlier war Blue Falcon paints, and I know I've seen a couple people use the mid-war in a early war kind of fashion. You can do it, but there's really some different tones to those paints, so that will be cool to have, and we'll get those and we'll start painting some stuff up with those new colors. All right, I haven't seen anything else that I really want to talk about, guys. What else have you seen? Any new mats? Obviously, there's a ton of new aces that came out from Warlord with the F4s and all the other aircraft that are out there. So there's a bunch of new stuff up for pre-order, both on Warlord and Lead Pursuit. But what else have you guys seen?
Yeah, it's not a sale item, but what was John talking about with something he did with the game boards for Combined Arms, where he made something a little modular?
Yeah,
or something?
he did some cut and paste to make some new game boards specifically for Korea scenarios. So I laugh because rather than doing something like a modern individual in Photoshop and digitally cutting and pasting, he literally made color printouts and cut and paste a bunch of the boards together to make his. So it works. Whatever you need to do. I'm sure the Warlord art department is now having a heart attack trying to replicate it. But the fact is he made some different Korea Combined Arms boards so that we could play Combined Arms, which is kind of the funniest discussion that John and I have had. And I'm going to say this now after having done the Combined Arms episode. Combined Arms, while it is a cool boxed set, the concept isn't anything that anyone else couldn't have done with a handful of bolt action miniatures and some blank hex paper. But for some reason, none of us were able to figure out how to do it until they actually released a box set. I just find it kind of funny because it's stuff that gamers have been doing for years, making their own operational campaign, whatever systems. But it took us getting Combined Arms released for the bolt action team to figure that out. Anyway,
they said they're going to add any expansions or anything to it yet?
They've said they're going to. They haven't said where they're going to be or what they're going to be. So I think they are kind of pausing and waiting and see how Combined Arms is done. I don't know how good those numbers are. What I've heard on kind of the Rumor Control Central is the bundles were popular. In fact, the most popular bundle was the bundle of, drumroll please, Combined Arms and Blood Red Skies, which means it's not a bunch of Blood Red Skies players buying it. So that's a bunch of other people, either Victory at Sea, Cruel Seas, or Bolt Action people picking up Blood Red Skies. So I think that's kind of a good thing. But yeah, I don't know overall how well it sold out. I hope it did. Like everything else, we want Warlord to succeed. But I don't know if it, percentage-wise was a success, a flop, somewhere in between. Who knows? But anyway, enough of me ranting. It would not be the Lead Pursuit podcast without Steve Toth's rant. Steve, what the fuck is pissing you off now?
Well, it is pissing me off a little that this is becoming a regular segment. If I could rant on
it's
that.
It's pissing you off that you're pissed off. What the fuck? No.
Yeah, but I don't really, nothing really has me tuned up this week, except I think it's time that we need to get rid of the alternate BRS ready room. I mean, we are literally the smallest niche game population out there. And to split it up just so Brett can post pictures of DO 335s and flying wings. I mean, everybody wants to see those. Let's just finally scrap the alternate BRS ready room and just put it all in one spot.
We should just change the regular ready room to just the DO 335 ready room. Just make it.
I think that would be awesome. I mean, I put it to you this way: there are more people who backed the new Cyberpunk 2077 game than play Blood Red Skies in the entire world. So that should put it in perspective what a niche game we are. Yeah, well, so there's a lot of shit going on. And I'll say it this way. June has been an interesting month. Obviously, there's a lot of people coming in playing Blood Red Skies, a bunch of new players. For the 470th time, someone said, hey, is there a problem with the Midway starter set? And all of us just chuckle and reset the clock.
Reset the clock.
But here in Huntsville, One of my local FLGS is closed, which is always a sad thing. You know, it always sucks to see a game store close down. But it is kind of an interesting post-mortem to see what communities were playing there, what communities were not playing there, and to kind of sit down with the owners and analyze where things went or did not go right. And one of the things, as Matt and I were talking about over lunch today, is that sometimes game stores get super compartmentalized and they become that historical gaming game store, or that 40K store, or that collectible card game store. And the problem is when you do that, man, you're a niche market inside a niche market. And even if it's something big like collectible card games, you're not getting the repeat business of the miniatures crowd. If you're a historical kind of store and you don't cater to 40K and fantasy games, then guess what? That's a niche of a niche market. You may not like Games Workshop and 40K, but there's money to be made there. So I think it's an interesting look at how game stores are doing their business and how are the ones that are really making it, what are they continuing to do? But, what have you guys seen for game stores in your local area? I know, Brett, you've got a big Warhammer store where you are and a couple FLGSs, but what is everyone seeing?
Yeah, there's two Warhammer stores near me, and the original Jacksonville one, and now there's one in St. Augustine. It's been there a little while. And I've cruised in there to grab some stuff for AI, and they seem to be, rocking right along. I mean, I don't see them slowing down, but I think they're a little, maybe, I don't know if insulated is the right word, because that's such a big, in the gaming world, I guess, a big following,
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sad. In Penang, the Warhammer store there in Penang, Malaysia is actually closing. I didn't think that would happen. I figured the little FLGSs would kind of die first, but they're going down to a single Warhammer store in all of Malaysia, and that's kind of disappointing. But, I mean, there's obviously a ton of Warhammer stuff in Singapore and a ton of FLGSs in Singapore and a bunch of good FLGSs in Kuala Lumpur. So it's interesting that it can be a really big market, and then their stores can just fail based on dynamics.
There's one really pretty good FLGS store that I'm most familiar with in Jacksonville, but I haven't been in there in years. Funny story. I was in there with Gavin when he was just able to, kind of walk around and stuff, and he was still in diapers and stuff. And he's just standing there kind of looking at stuff, and I'm, checking the shelves or whatever. And he was, kind of in arm's reach, but I wasn't looking directly at him. And I hear him go, uh-oh. And I turn around and look at him, and he's peeing, and it's leaking out of his diaper into a big puddle on their floor. And I was
so they remember you. In
embarrassed.
other words, you're not welcome back.
No, I stopped going after that. I was too embarrassed to return. Of course, they were very gracious, like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I'm running to the car, getting diaper towels and trying to clean up the mess and everything. And I was just super embarrassed. But I literally have not been back because of that.
Oh, don't worry, I won't remind Gavin of that. You caused your father to not go back to a local game store.
So we have a couple big stores here in Austin, but it's all and they're moving right along, but it's Games Workshop, the Magic cards, and X-Wing that keep them alive. No matter what you see, I think historicals are just too niche for it. Because, you got to think about it. For bolt action, there's how many different tanks compared to how many tanks in 40K? So, you may want one Sherman, but, that store is not going to carry one of 13 different variants that you want. But they're still moving right along, and the Horse Heresy, the new one, is just as taken off, and the store's packed.
Thou shalt not speak of the heresy.
I didn't buy it. I just I'm making a point.
No, I still didn't buy it. I have now walked past it twice and picked it up and looked at it and said, nope, not going to buy it.
I was actually just going to ask that. Have you ever seen a game store that mixes those things, like a big X-Wing crowd and a historical crowd? I've never seen one that.
So yes and no, and Matt and I were talking about that because it's really interesting. In the Virginia area, yes, up there outside of DC, I've seen ones that mix it and mix it well. Here, sort of. One of our big stores, The Deep, is a comic and game store. And they get a wide variety of stuff through there, but they also, they don't cater to some of the groups as much as some of the other stores. What I have seen, and this is the thing that kind of pisses me off and is most troubling to me, is I've seen the 40K crowd run off the historical crowd, or the historical crowd run off the 40K and the collectible card crowd. and it's just weird. I don't get the dynamic of it, and I bitched about it a couple episodes ago when, you know, historical people are really not willing to show up to a con because, you know, somebody there is wearing the blue fuzzy elf ears, and that makes it not a gaming con or not a historical con, so we don't go to those kind of gaming cons. Give me a fucking break, people.
Games Workshop player doesn't come because the historical player's wearing an SS uniform.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
exactly,
Blue
yeah.
Elf are
Oh,
cool,
yeah.
but SS gear isn't. No,
The SS gear is a little disturbing. Yeah. But you know, but there's a point to that. So, and I've seen that firsthand, how the historical crowd and how they interact and how they talk and how they run their mouth. Like there's people there that are not going to get offended at the stupid fucking things they say. And then they're surprised that either staff from the store leaves and quits, or that people don't want to be around them and don't want to play games because they're just a bunch of asses.
Oh yeah, gatekeeping's real. We're our own worst enemy.
Well, you know, it's weird. And so I will say there's actually a good episode on Old Men Rolling Dice where you hear them talking about gatekeeping and is it real? Is it not real? Does it really matter if it's real or not? Because even if you induce that own psychological pressure on yourself and it's all in your mind, you still don't interact. And I was talking to Matt about it today. We were laughing about, you know, eating in Malaysia, and most of the places I go into, thoroughly welcome, happy to go there, happy to sit down and eat and try different things. But there's a weird dynamic to certain kinds of restaurants there, and I'd like going to a Nazi Kandar restaurant, and all of a sudden everyone's looking at me like I don't belong, and the people serving me aren't happy to be serving me, and I'm like, dude, I'm just here to get some chicken and rice and some spices. What's up? But whether or not they're actually gatekeeping me, in my mind they are. And in my mind they don't want me there. So you know what? I've eaten Nazi Kandar like 3 times when I've gone to Malaysia just because I don't feel welcome in most of the restaurants. They probably couldn't care less that I'm there. But I create it in my mind because I'm interpreting what their body language is. And in a sense, it gatekeeps me from going back and eating more Nazi Kandar.
I will say the best way to get over that is going back to NashCon last year. It's amazing when you have a female with you that all of a sudden everybody welcomes you into every game. Like all of a sudden,
yeah, exactly.
I was
You
walking around
brought
with my
Jamie,
wife
and all of a sudden everyone wanted you to play their game. I see how that is. Well, but you know, it's funny to listen to some of the female gamers and listen to in the same podcast. One will say, "No, I've never had anyone tell me that they don't want me at the game," and the other one will be like, "Yeah, absolutely. I've had people that totally treat me like I'm not welcome." And so it's interesting that there's even different experiences between different people. So you might find one person of one social dynamic that has never felt uncomfortable, and others that have. And my whole attitude is, whatever, who cares? I don't care if it's real or if it's in their head. It's a perception that is there. Therefore, we need to do something to get over it. I know there's a lot of historical gamers who don't believe that. They go, tough shit, if you want to play historical games, just show up and deal with us the way we are. That's not how the rest of the world works, dudes. But that's all right. You know, be a good person, welcome other people, and learn how to have social skills when interacting with other people. Anyway, hey, I got in a soapbox. I didn't think I was going to get on a soapbox. Here's another one. Speaking of soapboxes. So some interesting discussions this week with Team Warlord about the disconnects between the stores, the consumers, and Warlord, and how distributors have played into that, how individual store ability to buy things and the stockist plan for Warlord, and how all those things just make a super negative environment for the consumer. That it's bad enough on the store, but man, when a consumer can't get a Blood Red Skies starter kit for 8 months, you know, when they can't get a certain individual box because they need one box of fighters, but the store now has to buy $1,500 worth of product. There's got to be a change at some point in how this works, because people aren't ordering it direct from the UK because of shipping. People can't order it through their stores because they can't get the minimum order required. And top that off with, there's constantly bad gouge going around of, so I hear Warlord Games is going out of business. Okay, that's why I've got an entire warehouse full of new Warlord Games stuff, because they're going out of business. So it's strange how all this has happened. I don't know. Steve, you talk to the guys at Mythicos a lot. It seems like their store always stocked, always seems to have stuff on hand, and has a pretty good setup up there, right?
Yeah, they really do. And actually, I guess I should have mentioned them. We were talking about mixing historicals and all this stuff, because they play all kinds of games there, but they're always stocked. They have no issues, and they have multiple stores, and I don't know what their secret is, but everybody talked to Nelson. He seems to have it together.
Yeah, I think it's cold hard cash, because Matt and I were talking about it. And you look at how some stores that are super successful, they literally have $15,000 to $20,000 minimum of stock on hand. And that's because they've had to buy it in certain lots. They've had to keep things on the shelf, and they don't necessarily know what consumers want. That's just a reality of anything in retail. And I think it gets magnified in the war games industry because there's probably only 4 or 5 major lines that are out there. And then all of a sudden you've got to have a lot of that in stock. So people that put down big cash plays are able to have things in stock, keep satisfying the customer. People that don't, they can only fund a handful of things. They just don't have the stock that people want. But I mean, there's times, I know, Casey, we saw it when we went in a couple different game stores, that there's a huge Warlord stock there that just isn't moving. What's the deal with that?
Well, I think that's what I'm talking about too, is there's just so much, like, they're going to sell their Panzer IVs, they're going to sell maybe their box of Hellcats, their Midway set, but there's just so much more variety to these historical games that it's a lot harder. And, they're forced to buy like the 13 different variants of a Panzer IV just to, like, hopefully someone comes in and buy it, so then they have so much more product out there and it looks like they're not selling it, but they are. That's my thing, is they're still selling the stuff. It's just, hey, okay, I need all these 7 different types of Italian infantry because I don't know what someone's going to come in and buy, so it looks like they have a lot of stuff out there. Which
is kind of funny, because we've even suffered that on the Lead Pursuit side, and the reason we have an online store is so we can keep generally one of everything, so people can pick it up if they need it, because they don't want to order just a single box of airplanes from the UK. But what that means is there have been times that it's been funny for like Soviet stuff. I can literally count on one hand this year the number of Soviet boxes of airplanes I've sold. So not exactly been a popular Air Force. Maybe we need to do a scenario special on Stalingrad. But, part of that's also been due to just the popularity of the line has been the Midway, the Pacific, all those things this year. But, yeah, man, I think I've moved a couple boxes of MiGs and maybe a box of IL-16s, so, yeah, or I-16s. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, let's move on. Let's taking from that point, one of the things I've seen recently that is, I would say it's troubling, but to me it's a symptom of success, at least success for us as the war gamers, is Blood Red Sky's release fatigue. The releases and the pre-orders through this calendar year have gone from huge numbers to moderate numbers to, okay, maybe like 1 or 2 aces being sold. And that's an interesting thing for me to see. And the more I stepped back and I looked at it, there was a lot of money exchanging in there for the aces early on. And when you looked at what individual gamers were buying, there was a lot of spending early this year. And I think when we look at the numbers, like there's 7 aces for the Japanese, 9 U.S. aces since the start of the year, plus all the squadron boxes that have been out there. I think there's, in a sense, a little too much too fast. What do you guys think, numbers-wise, for what's kind of hit out there?
I know for me, the aces just don't appeal to me. Like, if I was going to buy Blood Red Sky stuff, I would want more aircraft, like official aircraft cards that are on the master list, or like the ops room thing that's coming out. But like aces just don't have enough utility to me as a gamer, that I think it's more just an issue of I don't want the aces than the release fatigue.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at how the boxes have sold, even just the squadron boxes, when we've got exactly what we asked for. So a couple months ago we said, oh man, all the Metal F4Us are gone. That's awesome. They're just going to get plastic Corsairs. And then all of a sudden we got plastic Corsairs and cricket. Nobody wants plastic Corsairs or resin Corsairs. What's the deal, man?
I'd probably be more likely to buy the aces if they were available in a product kind of like this ops room thing with the, like a compendium of all the cards just for aces. I think that'd be something I would really want. versus the
Yeah.
plane and the card for one-off stuff. Because maybe like the card has some value for me, but I don't need the plane if it's not part of my collection already, that kind of thing. But I think the cards have some value.
So almost like an expansion pack where you'd be like the Japanese Aces pack and the
that's
US
right.
Aces pack.
That would be very attractive to me, yes. And I like your idea too, like since they're not part of the Opstrom thing with, you said equipment cards and some of those things, maybe that's a way to do it. Maybe offer like some one-off products where it's cards that are in those realms, right? That'd be fun.
So Ken Nat, if you were listening, you did such a great job with the Opstrom cards. You should push the idea of a ace pack, country ace packs.
You could even do
with Warlord
battle
games.
ace packs.
Battle themed ace packs. There you go, Ken. Ken, you should push this right now. I think this would be your next great success. We'll see what everyone wants. It's in my mind, it's super straightforward to go. I really don't need the extra airplane and extra stand. I can live without that. I'll just do somebody else's airplane that way. But having the cards would be critical. I think that'd be kind of fun. And in a sense, I will admit that Lead Pursuit, we are a victim of our own success because when there were not resin Warlord F4Us, what did we have? Oh, we had the amazing Blue Falcon Hobbies F4U Corsairs. And so a lot of people bought those. And I don't know if there were people that were going to buy Warlord Corsairs when they came out and were just using beta cards, or were they people who had metal Corsairs, didn't like them, wanted something less heavy. Who knows? All I know is for a lot of the aircraft that Warlord released, their box sales were underwhelming, but I didn't feel so guilty because our 3D printed sales were pretty heavy in the 2 months before their box came out. So, sorry, Warlord. Should have been faster. I won't be getting a Christmas card from Paul Sawyer for that one, or from John Stollard, but that's all right. All right. What else for BRS release fatigue? Anyone else seen any reasons for people not to be buying this Blood Red Sky stuff? Because let's be honest, we got a shit ton of stuff this year in the first 6 months, I think, compared to a lot of other games that are out there.
How were those releases paired with the box set? Was there?
They were always tied to it. So I think the only ones that it shifted a little bit was this last batch of Japanese Aces was delayed, and so you got the box sets first, and then you got the Japanese Aces. But we got F4Us and the F4U Aces that are coming out. I guess they were also delayed now I think about it. So everything was pretty close.
I think that's pretty smart, because it goes with the box set. If you just, if you're just starting and you're building your collection based on that box set, having those Aces come out that are maybe relevant for your collection right around the time that you're diving into your box, man, that's probably a pretty smart thing. It's my perspective is just a little warped probably because I don't have that collection. I have the box set, but I haven't even started painting it yet because my other collections, the queue for the stuff I want to paint, it's just a different collection. But that's why I think I wouldn't suggest that they do away with the individual Aces like they have them now. I think that's a great thing for like all the people that want them for their individual collections. But for somebody like me who doesn't necessarily need that one-off plane and stand, like you were saying, yeah, cool. Let me purchase a collection of the cards. I'll do that. But I can see both sides.
Even if they had a print on demand, out of print Aces, that would be nice, so that you could go out there and you could pick up just the cards for a lot of these guys that you actually want to play. And it to me, it goes back to the why we don't see them in tournaments. People don't play them enough. They kind of go out of print. They fall out of vogue. They're worth a lot of points, so they don't go through the daily churn like everybody, like all the other cards and everything do. So who knows?
We talked a little bit about the collectible nature of some of this stuff, and I think we all agreed that those Ace figures, the 28 millimeter figures, were really pretty cool, and I guess those aren't even available anymore. I think it'd be exciting to see them release something like that again in a limited way. I think that could truly have some collector kind of stature to it, if you will, and that'd be fun. I don't know the reality of them actually doing something like that, but I could see that being kind of exciting as a one-off thing.
Yeah. And I'm quite frankly surprised as many other limited edition figures as you've seen come out for Bolt Action that they haven't done that for at least one of the Aces, one or two of the Aces coming out. So once again, Warlord, if you are listening, here's some good ideas for you. But I think at the end of the day, there's a couple things conspiring against us. It's summer. People are taking family vacations. There's money going out of people's pockets.
Inflation.
Yeah, exactly. I did that. Sorry, had to get my political joke in there. And all those things coupled together that people just don't have the disposable income to throw at little resin airplanes. So Lead Pursuit's going to go out of business if you don't buy our stock. No, we're not. We'll hold on to it and we'll survive through this.
We just won't eat bacon.
We just won't have any fancy restaurant meals at Adepticon. We'll be eating Sonic at Adepticon next year. All right. Well, so moving on from that, kind of one of the big topics. Is everyone else in a hobby funk? I'm in a little bit of a hobby funk.
Yes, but I'm slowly getting my feet back under me. It's just it's always that time of year. It's just so
let me back
hot.
up and say I'm in a funk in general. It
God,
isn't
I've been in a
helping
bad
with
mood.
with
Ugh.
people's social media attitudes, people's attitudes in general, all kinds of shit going on in the U.S. And I'm just in not the best of moods. So while it should be my therapy that I sit there and paint little airplanes, there's times that I don't even have the brain power to do that. And I guess if I'm going to make a pitch to anyone, all the sarcasm and joking bullshit aside, is in this time of social change, stress, a lot of other stuff going on, fucking please be good people. I see other communities out there tearing themselves apart over stupid release stuff, stupid things that have happened at conventions and tournaments. And thank God Blood Red Skies community's not doing that. We pick on each other pretty heartily. Some funny things have been said in the Ready Room recently, and things do get a little heated every once in a while. But here's the deal. There's enough toxicity and other bullshit on social media right now that I know for me, things like the Ready Room or some of my other war game groups are kind of my refuge. And to be honest, I've unfriended a lot of people. I don't see them in my feed, and I don't miss them. Because you know what? I still see all my solo wargaming stuff. I see my Flames of War, my Blood Red Sky stuff, and Battletech, and, I'm happy.
I was in a huge hobby funk, and I feel like I'm on the uptrend now. I mean, I'm school's out for the year. I got some time off of work. I'm feeling like I'm coming out of it here. I'm gonna be back on the hobby. Hobby horse.
You have more than 4 hours of sunlight where you live. That's
yeah, exactly. He can now paint outside, and it's no longer 5 degrees.
I'm kind of in a little upswing of my hobby stuff, and I think part of it is just getting after it. And I do my best when I just do a little bit each night. I feel the kind of little sense of accomplishment for even if it's just a little bit. Anyway, I've gotten a few little things done on a bolt action project I've been working on. I feel pretty good about that. I'm working on that Catalina. I think I'm going to bust out my my Midway starter set and get cranking on that too. So anyway, I've got a few things in the queue, but I feel like I'm getting after it, a little bit here and there.
That's good. And I've talked about it a couple times. A lot of that is just the layout of your hobby space. I think I've got to come up with a better way to, even though I loved where my hobby space sits at the far end of my work desk, the fact is I'm a remote worker, so I spend a lot of hours during the day at that desk. I don't want to come back up to that desk in the evening. So it's funny, my gaming table, I get stuff done over here. I get other game stuff done. I get, stuff on Fulcrum Leader worked on, all that kind of stuff. But I don't get my painting and my priming and everything else done because that's over on that table that's the same as my work side. What do you got to say, Brett?
Well, I just finished a small bit of a project, and one of the things I came away after completing just 3 little figures with was like, man, that was a lot of fun. And it comes on the heels of having done a much larger squad of figures that were, I had like 10, 40K Space Marines or whatever that I had ready and were sitting in my queue forever. I was like, I should do those. Anyway, it was kind of a slog to do 10. I like to try to do, be efficient or whatever. So the whole idea of having 10 of them was to do that sort of assembly line process, but it was kind of a slog. Like 10 of them was just too much. And I found myself not really enjoying the process too much. It was just kind of like a grind to get through them. Anyway, I finished that project and then I shifted gears and did something different. And when I was working on those bolt action figures, I just did 3. And because I was trying to almost test out what I was going to do because it was a new color scheme and some other stuff. Anyway, 3 was really satisfying because I felt like I was getting something accomplished, and I was still doing that sort of assembly line process. But 3 was just right, and that was a good thing.
Well, I ran into an assembly line problem earlier in the year doing my midway starter set aircraft, and Steve's going to laugh when I pick on him here. So I was painting my aircraft dutifully with my Blue Falcon Hobbies paints, and I was putting some multiple coats on because those things go down so smooth and they're so thin. But the problem is, literally, if I didn't put them down in a specific order, I'd totally get sidetracked to I couldn't figure out which ones I'd painted 4 coats on and which one had 7 coats. And it was funny to me. I totally lost my mind going, oh crap, have I overpainted this one? Has this one got too many coats on? Just because I didn't have a disciplined hobby pattern for batch painting. But those are about to get their decals and be ready. And then I've got to move on. I've got some more AI stuff that I've picked up that I've got to do a little yellow contrast on for all of my yellow boys.
My other little lesson learned in that project was the first 3 I did, I fully assembled, primed, and then started working on. And I'm starting a second 3, and I'm doing the faces separately. So the heads are not attached to the bodies. The rest of the figures are completely assembled minus their heads. And I'm doing the heads separately because I found I couldn't really get to the faces the way you didn't have the control because, stuff's kind of in the way and the angles weren't right. But having them separate on a piece of a paper clip stuck in a cork, I can really focus on the face and get that done, and then paint the rest of the model and stick it together. So lesson learned.
Steve, what you got?
As long as we're like doing hobby therapy here, what's been killing me lately is like seeing all the pictures of stuff you guys are painting, and everybody's hobby pictures on Instagram. I'm just in like this funk where I'm like, before I even start a project, I've like convinced myself that it's going to turn out shitty. So I just like stare at it without doing anything because I don't want to fuck it up. It's like awesome. Weird. I just need to get in there and start working on shit. It's like,
yeah. Well, it's funny for me looking at stuff on Instagram because we always make the joke that you see somebody's post on Instagram. They're like, this is the first mini I've ever painted. And it looks like it was done by a 17-year experienced commission painter. Like, dude, that was not your first miniatures. don't even try to fool me. But my problem with Instagram is there right now are so many cool miniatures and cool gaming things people are doing. It almost puts me in a hobby funk because I can't do them all. Because I'll sit there and I'll look like Hans Team Yankee. I'll look at his stuff that he's doing for modern, Team Yankee style miniatures and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. Oh man, those cards that he's done are cool. That's really neat. And right about the time that I say, you know what, let me go break out some of my Team Yankee stuff I just picked up and let me paint that up so we can play 7 Days to the River Rhine. Then somebody puts up something cool from Warhammer, and it's like seeing the 2 different Primaris Marines done with different styles of contrast. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, man, I really should. I've got those, Primaris guys primed. I could go try the same technique. And so I've already lost the momentum that I had to do modern 15 millimeter armor. And then I'm thinking about, oh, well, what could I do for the paints I've got to do yellow Imperial fists, on Primaris. And then, of course, Heresy box stuff comes up. So go fuck yourself, Chris. Stop sending me Heresy box art. But I see cool Heresy stuff. I'm like, ooh, wow, maybe I should go buy a bunch of Mark 6s. I could do some cool stuff. And I've gotten to the point where I almost wish I was seeing fewer cool miniatures on Instagram because then I could focus. And there's just so much going on in the hobby right now that I don't feel like I have focus on a project that needs to get done. I feel like I'm kind of hitting all over the page.
I have the exact opposite problem of every time I post something on Instagram, everybody goes, hey man, that looks great for your first mini. And I'm like, yeah, I've been painting for 20 years.
So I'm a huge victim of the good idea fairy problem too.
No, you are the good idea fairy. You're not a victim. You and Brett Cantor are the good idea fairies here. Continue.
So what I've been doing though is what's helped me, because I didn't paint for like 2 months, is I like, for lack of a better word, like third-party media to help me get going. So let's say, for example, like this Team Yankee
is that
or 7 Days to the Rhine.
Is that a code word for adult media?
It's a cop
Third-party
code.
media?
So you find for the Team Yankee book or Red Storm Rising, like if I read along with that, like at night, after I paint or paint in the morning, it just helps me like stay on task because that's what I'm like interested in.
Oh no. So I was laughing with Matt about that today. I picked up a copy of the Battlefront's Nam book just to see how they did Vietnam stuff. What was their take on doing on Nam 15? And that is a snoozer, man. That book, I actually made the mistake of sitting downstairs and flipping through it, and then I fell asleep. Then, like, the next time, I'm like, you know what? I'll just sit here in bed and read a couple pages about how they do minefields. And, yeah, I didn't make it through the first paragraph. And so, needless to say, some of these, quote, inspiration books, not very inspirational, but they got great info.
Because we've said fiction books and stuff.
I know, but we've said it a couple times for 7 Days to the River Rhine specifically, there's no orders of battle in that game. And so Matt was asking me today, he's like, what do we want to do? Do we want to, what scale do we want to play? And I know we've all talked about it. There's a point where I'm like, well, we'll just pull a couple cards from Team Yankee and use those point values and balance something and then play it with the 7 Days to the River Rhine rules. Because that's at least giving us forces that somebody should have balanced in some other game system. And hopefully it'll roll out the same in 7 days.
Man, we could talk for hours on trying to stay on task, hobby-wise. It's like a serious problem.
I wish you would stay on task for printing. Get back in the sweatshop down there, start printing again, while Texas still has power before they run out of power.
Oh, my God.
Oh, well, the jokes just, keep on coming. All right, well, let's finish up with a real quick discussion about one of the listener questions. I know there was some discussion on the Ready Room about it. People got pretty impassioned at points talking about twin-engine bombers that could both strafe and bomb. Yes, we're looking at you, B-25. And how do you play that in the game the way the rules are written for Leyden? Because it actually says, unless you're in the ordnance releasing attack, you can't shoot your forward-firing ordnance. Now, I've always taken that to be you have to be in a strafing attack to drop strafing ordnance and lose the effect of Leyden, not if you're a bomber that happens to strafe. Casey, what kind of have your thoughts been on that?
Honestly, I haven't really encountered it because we haven't played with them where we've played, only twin engine fighters, but not bombers where they could strafe. But I think I'm kind of along the same year lines, but I haven't encountered enough to really have a legitimate opinion.
Yeah, I think, Steve, I know you and we all of us have talked a couple times about how you make these more thematic or more, I guess, really more cinematic attacks where you, in Blood Red Skies, get to do something that, sure, it's in the history books, but I'm not sure how effective it was.
Yeah. Pro tip, if you're ever playing me in Blood Red Skies, bring something multi-engine, because I have no clue how the multi-engine rules work still, so you win whatever you tell me.
You're automatically going to win. Just tell me what the rules are and I'll believe it.
I do not understand the multi-engine rules. They take what is the simplest war game and they threw the most crazy complicated thing in there. So I will defer to whatever you decide as being the way I play.
Yeah, the good thing is Andy has said he's going to FAQ this. I think in at least my consideration of the rules as they're written, I would just have changed it to say no air-to-air forward-firing ordnance. Because if you've got a bunch of bombs and you're doing a strafing attack or all these things, it doesn't really matter. You're doing an air-to-ground attack. You should be able to shoot your forward-firing ordnance and then release bombs or release bombs later. Because it shouldn't be one then the other. It's kind of a semantics game right now because I think it's really well written and really specific, but I think it only allows strafing ordnance people to not be laden when they're making their attack. So hopefully Andy will FAQ that or put out a rules errata change that says, hey, no air-to-air forward-firing ordnance. So that will allow you to then roll in, strafe the ship, and drop a bomb on it as you fly over. Because the other important point a lot of people forget about is with bombing, you just have to be within 6 inches of the target. It doesn't have to be in your forward arc. It's not like a strafing attack or a torpedo attack. So you could, in a sense, strafe one turn, move past it, and execute a bomb attack that turn, and that would, allow you to use delayed action bombs, because delayed action bombs can be dropped from disadvantage. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to necessarily do it, because you'd have to dive in, shoot, next turn, move, make a small move, climb for advantage, then maybe you could make another bombing attack. I'm sure somehow there's some 7 consecutive miracles you could make it happen and do it. But I think most of the intent is met by just allowing forward-firing air-to-ground ordnance, but not forward-firing air-to-air ordnance when you're laden.
Yeah, I always thought of that strafing ordnance as my trusty BF-109F with a single centerline bomb, strafing some airfield or something, right?
Exactly, because that's kind of been the model, the way it's been written, and that if you want more, you attach bomb shackles, and that obviously gives you another speed penalty on top of just being laden. And it's a speed penalty that doesn't go away when you drop your bombs, so you really get super penalized. But that also makes you truly an attack aircraft instead of just someone with strafing ordnance. So yeah, whatever. If that's the most complex thing we're arguing about, and the rest of the game's good, then I think we're fine, because we're not check your 6, and it's not taking us 4 hours to resolve a single fighter, 4v4.
Yeah, you could just play it the way that it's fun, and that would be okay.
That's a crazy idea. Talk with your opponent, tell them what you want to do, and see if it makes sense. And I'll be honest, most opponents, at least the people that I've played with, if you showed up to the board and you had some fighters doing fighter things, and your B-25s dive in, and you go, hey, man, this turn I want to strafe, and the next turn I want to bomb you because I'm shooting you first and dropping a bomb, I'd probably be like, holy shit, that's really cool, let's do that. And you're probably going to sink my ship. But most BRS players are not going to lose their mind over that, I don't think. Maybe some will. No, we're not going to do high altitude intercept. Brett, why do you like high altitude intercept? Did you actually beat Steve by playing high altitude intercept?
No, we're still playing our game. I just, with those rules and stuff, I think, man, even Jet 1 would be just awesome.
I just want to have something I can club you with. Yeah. I shipped out a box of ME-262s today, and then I looked at them and I'm like, man, I need to paint up some 262s. I need some jets for World War II. But yeah,
it's freaking hard to shoot down bombers. I mean, it's a tough thing to get it done.
I'll say that with one tweak. It's tough to shoot down bombers if even with 4-engine bombers you have more than one, because I think the 4-engine bomber gets nerfed a little bit if you don't have multiples, because most of the scenarios say 1 4-engine bomber. But if you're playing multiple 4-engine bombers with interlocking fire, where you already have a stupid number of dice you're shooting as a 4-engine bomber, and then it adds yet another die, that's just adding insult to injury at that point. And it's, even when you can knock them down to disadvantage, they're just doing a lot of damage to you every turn. A lot of opportunities for them to hurt your airplanes.
Yeah, I think we have 4 2-engine bombers, but there's escorts and stuff, so the escorts are doing a good job of keeping me from getting too close and that kind of stuff.
Well, maybe at Crucible it's time for us to play B-29s and MiGs and Sabres again, because that's a hard one, I think. I mean,
put the Sabres in high cover and put some F-84s in escort, like actually did.
F-84s. Did I order some F-84s? Was someone supposed to print those for me? Casey, were you supposed to print some F-84s for me?
It's fuzzy.
It's really fuzzy. I've killed those brain cells with tequila.
Yes.
Son of a bitch. All right, well, get me some of those before Crucible. Otherwise, they have zero chance of getting painted. But no, Brett brings up a good point, because then at least you have something where it's not super powerful Sabres and the bombers against the MiGs. The MiGs have a chance to do some damage. And, here's the funny thing. I wrote a couple quick start scenarios recently for F-84s, and then thankfully Plane Printer and a couple other models came out with those. So I'm like, yes, I can now play F-84s, even though we have some horrible beta statistics for them, and they're just absolutely meat. But it'll be fun. All right, so what else have you guys seen you want to talk about for this week, or is everyone beat and ready to go home? Y'all are beat. Y'all are tired. Casey's still in the funk.
No, I guess that's it. We covered a lot of stuff.
All right, so I'm going to throw the challenge out, because my own Lead Pursuit boys have left me hanging here. And the challenge is going out to the rest of the community. Figure out the Blood Red Skies Lead Pursuit saying for the end of the podcast, because I have no idea how to close these podcasts, and they sound terrible. So you could literally influence the success of the Lead Pursuit podcast. Suggest something witty, something sarcastic, and quite even possibly profane for us to end our podcast with every week. And what will be the reward? Well, our undying gratitude, obviously. But yeah, we'll hook you up with some swag and maybe even some models of your choice there. But yeah, seriously, submit some of that. Give us some feedback on social media. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Tell us how we should never end our podcast or how we absolutely should end our podcast. And generally, hopefully all of you are going to go out, play some games, have some fun, and generally not keep fucking it up like Casey does. Thank you all very much. We're going to talk to you another time. So what do y'all think about the card deck, motherfuckers?
I think we just lost Doug.
I think so too. Oh, there he goes.
Dang. It always happens to him.
Now he's gonna come back super pissed.
I think he's using that Elon Musk Starlink bullshit or something crazy.
He's fighting with the Ukrainians trying to connect to the internet.
Some Bayraktar drone just dropped a fucking bomb and he lost his internet from Starlink.